Right, so what I have here is a board that's 9 inches around, it's 1 inch thick, it's got a glue block on the back. Now this is a piece that my dad prepared many years ago, and he never finished it. I have no idea what his intention was, but I'm guessing some sort of a small plate. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a jam chuck right now. So what I'm going to do is this actually fits perfectly in my chuck. Just like that. Absolutely perfect. Almost like Dad made it for me for this purpose. Fits in there just perfect like that. So what I'm going to do is true this up and use it as a jam chuck for this bowl. And then I can true up my tenon, finish the outside, and then turn it around and finish the inside. So occasionally you come across a piece of wood that you think is beautiful and it's incredibly punky. So what I have done in the past, and I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm doing it again now for this one because there's not much else I can do with it. I've tried different types of cuts and I'm just getting some major tear out because it's so punky, and all the bug activity in the wood has just caused a lot of general decay. So I am stiffening up those fibers now with shellac, watered down with mineral spirits, and then I'm going to let that dry, and hopefully that will stiffen up the fibers and I can get some clean cuts. So we'll find out. Okay, so looking at this bowl, you can see that there is an awful lot of tear out. Basically it's in a very high state of deterioration, this piece of wood. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get any decent cuts from it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the trusty 60, 80, 100 grit sandpaper. I think that's probably the way to go. But I'm going to give it one last shot with the with a scraper, with my trusty scraper that I've used before. I don't usually turn wood this punky, but I have had a lot of luck in the past with this particular scraper right here. It cuts very nicely, so let's see what we can do. See if this is salvageable. Doing that did in fact clean up probably about 60 to 70% of the tear out. Still a relatively high amount of tear out, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand this with a low grit, like an 80 grit, and see if I can eliminate that tear out. Here I'm just using a tool that was close at hand, a compass, to remove some of the bug dirt from the holes in the bowl. I'm sure there's a better tool to do this with, but it was just what I had at hand, and it did the job fine, so I'm happy with it. But any suggestions that would do a better job than this, please put a comment in the link below, see what you would use. I spent lots of time here going through the grits of sandpaper and applying Danish oil to soak into the wood. As you can see, as I apply it, it soaks into that wood and it helps to stabilize. As you can see, I spent lots of time applying oil and sanding. Okay, so I've now sanded this down to 400 grit and I've been applying Danish oil, which has also got varnish in it, and that's going to help stabilize the wood somewhat as well. There's a lot of bug activity in this bowl and very concerned that it might fly apart when I turn it around and start hollowing it out properly, but we'll see. I'm going to take it really easy, but and then I'm going to actually finish this with many coats of Danish oil. We'll see how this shines up when it's finished. You can see here that the bowl is in a bit of a sorry state. It is very punky and there's lots of wormholes in it, which basically has destroyed the integrity of the wood itself. But I continue on with it, and in the end I think it was worthwhile. I don't very often use sawdust as a filler or as a means to fill a void, but I have done it on occasion, and this is one such occasion. I have some pretty fine powdered dust there, and I'm just pushing it into that crack that's on the edge of the bowl and applying some CA glue, some thin CA. There's two spots, one either side of the bowl that I'm doing this with, and as you can see at the bottom, that's quite a big void in the lip of the bowl. This is quite a successful way of doing it. Here I'm applying shellac as a sealer. Again, it will penetrate the wood and stiffen those fibers, ready for final sanding, preparation for a finish. Forgot my gloves, so I did get it put on eventually. So after a little bit of sanding, I'm now applying some Danish oil and going through the grits to get the finish that I'm looking for. Again, just picking out those wormholes and then getting it ready for a finish. And thanks for watching. That's pretty much how I deal with a punky piece of wood. Now I've got another blank here that I roughed out at the same time when I initially roughed this out, and it was very wet and it was very punky and rotten. It is now dry and it's actually quite hard, so I think actually it would have been better had I turned this when it was dry. But I do have a 6-foot board outside, so I can get some more blanks roughed out from that. But again, it's very worm-eaten, it's very deteriorated, but it does come up with some nice effects with the wormholes. You can spend all kinds of time getting that dirt out. In fact, there's a great video by Stephen Ogles, and I'll leave a link to Stephen Ogles' channel below. If I can find the video, I'll put a link to his video somewhere. It's a really good video and he did a fantastic job of it. He actually picked out all of the worm dirt and he coloured it black, I think. He did a fantastic job. I didn't go to that extent, but I'm really happy with the results. It is going to have several more coats of Danish oil applied before it's finished. I'm going to let that soak in. Keep applying it, but don't over apply it. If you over apply it, it's going to wind up streaky and tacky, and it's not going to be a very nice finish. So you have to let it soak in, but keep it nice and smooth, and it will be a fantastic looking piece. That's pretty much it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again for the next video. Take care now. Bye now.